My name is Sarah, and I want to tell you about my life in school. I am 10 years old and in the 5th grade. School is a big part of my life, and many interesting things happen there every day. First day of school. I remember my first day of school very clearly. I was nervous and excited at the same time. My mom woke me up early, and I put on my new school uniform. The uniform was blue and white, and it looked very nice. My mom packed my favorite lunch, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, an apple, and some cookies. When we reached the school, I saw many kids with their parents. Some kids were crying because they didn't want their parents to leave. I felt a little scared, but my mom held my hand and walked with me to my classroom. My teacher's name was Mrs. Thompson. She was very kind and welcomed me with a big smile. In the classroom, I met other kids who were also starting their first day. We introduced ourselves and made new friends. My best friend from that day is Emma. We sat next to each other and quickly became friends. Emma had curly brown hair and bright blue eyes. She was very friendly and funny. We both liked the same books and TV shows, so we had a lot to talk about. Getting to know my classmates. Getting to know my classmates was an exciting part of the first few weeks of school. Besides Emma, I made friends with several other kids. There was Jack, who was really good at drawing. He could draw almost anything, and his pictures looked amazing. He drew animals, cars, and even superheroes. We often admired his artwork during free time. Then there was Mia, who loved to read. She always had a book with her and could finish a thick book in just a few days. She recommended some great books to me, and we often talked about the stories we read. Mia also liked to write her own stories, and she would sometimes share them with us. Another friend I made was Liam. He was very sporty and loved to play soccer. During recess, he would organize soccer games, and we all played together. I wasn't very good at soccer at first, but Liam was patient and taught me how to play better. Soon, I started enjoying the game more. Our classroom and teacher. Our classroom was bright and cheerful. There were colorful posters on the walls with positive messages like, "Always do your best," and "Be kind to others." Mrs. Thompson had a corner of the room dedicated to our artwork and projects. Whenever we completed a project, she would display it for everyone to see. It made me feel proud to see my work on the wall. Mrs. Thompson was a wonderful teacher. She was patient, understanding, and made learning fun. She had a way of explaining things that made even the hardest subjects seem easy. She always encouraged us to ask questions and never made us feel bad for not knowing something. Her kindness made the classroom a comfortable place for all of us. Daily routine. Our school days started at 8 a.m. We had a morning assembly where we sang the national anthem and listened to announcements. After the assembly, We went to our classroom and began the day's lessons. Each day was divided into different subjects, including math, science, English, and social studies. In the morning, we usually had math and English. Math was interesting because Mrs. Thompson used games and puzzles to teach us. We had math challenges where we worked in teams to solve problems. I enjoyed these challenges because they made math feel like a game. English was fun because we got to read different stories and write our own. We had a weekly writing assignment where we could write about anything we wanted. I loved writing stories about magical adventures and exciting places. Mrs. Thompson would read our stories and give us feedback, which helped me improve my writing skills. After our morning lessons, we had a short break called recess. This was the best part of the day for many of us. We played games, ran around, and had fun with our friends. Recess was also a time to relax and recharge before our next lessons. Lunchtime and the cafeteria. Lunchtime was another favorite part of the day. We had a big cafeteria where all the students ate together. The cafeteria was noisy and full of energy. The smell of food filled the air, and there were different sections for different types of food. There were sandwiches, salads, hot meals, and desserts. I usually brought my lunch from home, but sometimes I bought food from the cafeteria. My favorite cafeteria meal was spaghetti with meatballs. It was delicious, and I always looked forward to the days when it was on the menu. During lunch, we sat with our friends and talked about our day. We shared stories, laughed, and sometimes traded food. Emma often brought homemade cookies, and she would share them with us. They were the best cookies I had ever tasted. Afternoon lessons and activities. After lunch, we had our afternoon lessons. This included science, social studies, and sometimes art or music. Science was my favorite subject because it was full of interesting experiments and discoveries. We learned about plants, animals, and the human body. One memorable science lesson was when we learned about the solar system. Mrs. Thompson brought in a model of the planets, and we got to see how they orbit the sun. We also made our own papier-mâché planets and painted them. It was a fun project, and I learned a lot about space. Social studies was another interesting subject. We learned about different cultures, countries, and historical events. Mrs. Thompson often showed us pictures and videos that made the lessons more engaging. One time, we learned about ancient Egypt and made our own miniature pyramids. It was fascinating to learn about how people lived in the past. Art and music were creative subjects that allowed us to express ourselves. In art class, we painted, drew, and made crafts. In music class, we learned to play simple instruments and sang songs. I enjoyed these classes because they were relaxing and fun. Special events and celebrations. School was also fun because of the special events and celebrations. Every year, we had a school fair with games, food stalls, and performances. My favorite part of the fair was the talent show. Students could showcase their talents, like singing, dancing, or playing an instrument. One year, Emma and I decided to participate in the talent show. We practiced a dance routine for weeks. On the day of the talent show, we were nervous but excited. We performed our dance on stage, and everyone clapped and cheered for us. It was a wonderful experience and made me feel confident. We also had field trips to interesting places. One time, we visited the local zoo. It was fascinating to see all the different animals up close. We saw lions, elephants, giraffes, and many more. The zookeepers told us about the animals' habits and how they take care of them. I learned a lot and had so much fun. Another memorable field trip was to a science museum. The museum had interactive exhibits where we could conduct experiments and learn about different scientific principles. There was a section about space, where we saw a replica of a space shuttle and learned about astronauts. The museum trip was both educational and entertaining. Clubs and extracurricular activities. Besides regular classes, our school offered various clubs and extracurricular activities. These were optional, but many students joined because they were fun and interesting. There were clubs for different interests, such as the art club, science club, drama club, and sports teams. I joined the art club because I loved drawing and painting. In the art club, we worked on special projects and learned new techniques. We also participated in art competitions and showcased our work in school exhibitions. The art club was a great way to improve my skills and meet other students who shared my interest in art. Emma joined the drama club. She loved acting and performing on stage. The drama club put on plays and skits for the school. I attended their performances, and it was amazing to see Emma and her friends act out different stories. They put in a lot of effort, and their performances were always entertaining. Liam joined the soccer team. He practiced with his team after school and participated in matches against other schools. We often went to watch his games and cheered for him. The soccer team had a strong bond, and they worked hard to improve their skills and win matches. Challenges and overcoming them. Not everything in school was easy. There were times when I faced challenges. Sometimes, I found it hard to understand a lesson or complete my homework. But I learned that it's okay to ask for help. Mrs. Thompson and my friends were always there to support me. One time, I had to give a presentation in front of the whole class. I was very nervous because I had never spoken in front of so many people before. I practiced my presentation at home with my parents. On the day of the presentation, I took a deep breath and tried to stay calm. When I started speaking, I realized it wasn't as scary as I thought. Everyone listened carefully, and Mrs. Thompson praised my effort. It made me feel proud and more confident. Another challenge was a difficult math topic we were learning. I struggled to understand fractions and felt frustrated. I stayed after class one day and asked Mrs. Thompson for help. She patiently explained the concepts again and gave me extra practice problems. With her help and a lot of practice, I finally understood fractions. This experience taught me that perseverance and seeking help can overcome challenges. The importance of kindness. One important lesson I learned in school is the importance of kindness. Being kind to others makes the school a happy place for everyone.